Rogue One, a Star Wars story, a sequel to the prequels, and a prequel to the sequels. That's simple Star Wars. For all you posers out there, asking where Rey was, or where my favourite little droid was. Where were you? I miss you. Hey guys, and welcome to my world. So yes, I have seen Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which is also a prequel to the original trilogy. But that doesn't bother me, because I actually love the prequels. Don't judge. Don't be hitting up my comment section. So yes, this film is set right before A New Hope. And I mean right before, like... so close, in fact, that the rebels you read about in the opening crawl, they're these exact rebels. They are. Yes, this is that. Now, guys, before I get into my review, my thoughts, and overall discuss Star Wars Rogue One, I do have the latest Z-Box coming, which is Star Wars themed, light versus dark. Yes, I know, I am excited. If you want to see previous months' unboxings, I'll link them here or in the description below. But hit subscribe, stay tuned for light versus dark. Now guys, let's get into Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Now, from the get-go, I was a little annoyed. I was. I mean, I get that it's a anthology movie, that it's standalone movie, that it's a unique movie. And you can definitely tell that that it's its own movie, because right from the beginning, it didn't feel like a Star Wars movie to me anyways. I mean, where was the opening crawl? I love reading an essay before watching a Star Wars movie. I was so disappointed. That being said, this is a fantastic movie, so let's get in to my positives and my negatives. Let's start with the pros. Firstly, this film is beautiful to look at. It is beautiful to watch. It is directed by Gareth Edwards, who did the latest Godzilla, which is a film I absolutely love. And this guy is great at capturing the scope of stuff. He really is. I mean, when you see the planets, when you get the wide shots of the Star Destroyers, when you see the Death Star, it's fucking huge. I mean, you can tell that bad boy is no moon. Like, really. Oh my god. And the use of CGI on stuff like that, just it's all so beautiful. And the CGI in this, 95% of the time, is phenomenal. I mean, I will get into the other 5% later on in my negatives. But just the wide shots and the battles, they blew me away. So yes, the space battles are a massive highlight from this movie. I mean, this movie really does put the wars in Star Wars. The space battles were explosive. They were so fun. They were so great to watch. And just the ground battles, they were downright dirty. They were tense. They were claustrophobic with threat. It was so good. It was so good. So yeah, this movie as a whole had its own tone. When I say gritty, I mean gritty. This film felt very mature in itself. It took itself more seriously for a Star Wars movie. I mean, I went in expecting to see all these rebels die, and just to have the film entice me into the action and still feel threat towards these characters, that's great. That is great. That's great storytelling. This film did a good job at setting up this overall band of misfit rebels. I mean, don't get me wrong, you don't care for all the characters as much as you'd like, but it does an alright job at least setting them all up individually, and giving them, each single one of them, just a little explanation, a little intro. My favourite characters by far, Krennic was great, but if we're talking good guys, if we're talking the rebels, then by far I have two favourite characters, and one of them is definitely the droid. He was hilarious. Don't worry, it's still my favourite. He is. And Donnie Yen's character, the blind guy in this, I can't remember his name, but he was so awesome to watch. Like, by far, he is one of the biggest standouts in this film. And his bodyguard, I mean, if I was playing a game, like if I was sat down playing Battlefront and I could choose Rogue One characters, he would be my choice every time. The gun he has, man. Now, talk about heavy gunner. Now, talking action, the best part of this movie, by far, is the third and final act. And I am not saying that lightly. That shit was hype. Oh, I mean hype. Especially the justice done to Darth Vader. Oh, I'm not going to spoil it. But that leads me into my negatives. I wanted more of that. So yes, what I saw in the third and final act was bloody fantastic. That being said, the first two acts in this movie, they weren't bad. They just weren't great either. I mean, the first act was a bit choppy. We are going from planet to planet very, very quickly, setting up all these characters, which I get. But you're meeting them very, very quickly, and it's very fast-paced and very choppy. Like, you hear. So, yeah, the first two acts were not as great as that third and final one. They really Talking planets in this movie, at the bottom, will name each planet you're going to, except for one, which I do not remember seeing get named. And I don't think it was named, but it was a lava planet. And I'm just sat there thinking, is that Mustafar? Is that Mustafar? Can someone tell me if that is Mustafar? Please! There was lava! Tell me! Now guys, you know CGI in this film was great 95% of the time, for me anyways. But there was 5% in this film that just personally didn't work for me. So yeah, there was a few moments in this film where CGI was used on characters, and I get the reasons behind them, and I'm in no way complaining about them. I'm trying to talk about it without giving spoilers away. But Star Wars is a billion-dollar franchise owned by Disney, a billion-dollar empire, if not more. So when I'm seeing these spectacular space battles and these wide shots of Star Destroyers and they look so real, and then I'm going to look at a character and it felt like I went from real life to Star Wars, a Clone Wars animated show. It just took me out so fast and I was just like, oh, that's CGI. And again, I am not complaining to the reasons why they had to use it, because I wholeheartedly get it, but it was just, it took me out the film, and it was a prominent role. It was a character with a big prominent role. I'm not talking one scene, I'm talking quite a few scenes in this movie, so every time I saw it I was just like, oh, it's taking me out again. And I mean, if we're in that age where we can get apes on horses that look real, come on, Disney. So guys, if you saw my trailer reaction to Rogue One, then you know I was hyped to see Darth Vader back on the big screen. And if you haven't seen this movie yet, please go in with low expectations. Really do. I think I expected a lot more, and don't get me wrong, what I got was absolutely well and truly what I wanted to see. But it left me feeling so underwhelmed in the sense that I wanted more of that, and knowing that they could have done more of that, that they had the options to do more of that, I just felt like, oh man, why didn't you? Like, seriously, do you want to know how much Vader you got in this film? Well, I'm going to tell you anyways. You might as well go watch Revenge of the Sith, the last scene where Vader's like, no! That's also how I felt after seeing his scene end. Now talk about the lack of Vader disappointing me. So did the lack of kyber crystals. I was hoping for more explanations, more opening up to Star Wars lore in this movie, and just it explaining kyber crystals and just going into more depth. So again, when they didn't take the opportunities to open up this whole universe and this whole lore behind kyber crystals, again, just left me a bit underwhelmed, because they had the potential and the options to do so, and this movie felt like it didn't take those leaps that I wanted to see. So again, I was just a little disappointed. So the lack of Vader leaving me underwhelmed, and the lack of kyber crystals leaving me underwhelmed, let's talk the Death Troopers. Badass name, right? Yeah, you're damn right it is. They look badass, right? You're damn right they do. Looks like we're going to get some badass stormtroopers. Fucking useless. Why are they called Death Troopers? All they did was die. So guys, you can say I came out of this film underwhelmed, because I did. And I came out putting predictable on my negatives. But I saw this film last Thursday evening, so I've had a few days to actually think it through. And so I took predictable off my negatives list, because I can't really fault it for that. Because, to be honest, we all know how this film was going to go. We all knew how it was going to end and where it was going to lead to. Because we've all seen A New Hope. Or at least, I hope you have. If you haven't, why not? Go watch it! Saying all of that though, this movie does a great job, and I'm giving it props to giving an explanation to one of the biggest gripes with Star Wars there is. One of the biggest gripes with A New Hope and the Death Star. It explains that, and it does it with heart, which absolutely was fantastic, and I loved that. It was so good, and it was done so overall, right. This film was great. It was well shot. It was beautiful to watch. The action made me feel threat for these characters that I was expecting to die anyways. It was a good movie, but for me, I just left the cinema feeling so underwhelmed, because for me, it felt like they had so much more potential, so many options they could have took, that they just didn't. It felt like they played it very, very safe for the most part, and I just wanted to see more. I mean, I don't want you to think in any way that I am hating on this film, because I'm not. I really did have fun with this movie, especially the third and final act. It just felt like overall it was a bit lackluster for me. Now guys, you know on my channel, I don't rate movies. I like you to take in what I say and make up your own mind. But if I was to rate this movie, let's go with BB-8 theories. Was it a thumbs up, or was it a middle finger? Well, for me, this movie was definitely a thumbs up. How many of you thought I was actually going to rate this movie? I'm sorry to disappoint you, I really am. That's how I felt with Rogue One. Oh! At least Mads Mikkelsen, I think it's Maz, I don't think you pronounce the D, but at least he wasn't running around in this movie the whole time like he was in Doctor Strange. If you want to see that movie review, check that out up here or in the description below. But guys, have you seen Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and what did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments section below. So guys, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story is the last movie I'm seeing this year. I know. The next movie I'm going to see in the cinema is going to be 2017. But you know what it means? I now have to sit down with my big list of movies that I've seen this year and work out what's going in my top 10 best and my top 10 worst. So if you want to see those videos that will be coming to you very soon, then hit subscribe down there and stay tuned for them. Oh, it's going to be so hard. It really is. And again, I've got the Light versus Dark Z-Box coming at some point. I'm hoping next week, because I'm quite excited for it. So if you want to see that unboxing, again, hit subscribe. Stay tuned for that. And guys, thanks for watching. and this time, may the Force be with you. See you later!
Guys, you've made it to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you want to stay up to date with content from me, then click subscribe here. I've linked a few other videos here for your entertainment. If you want to check those out, just click on the image shown. If not, look over my channel. I'm sure there's some other content you will enjoy. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, take care.